It is the first week of December. It is grey and chilly. I'm in Sheffield. I don't know why I'm being all melodramatic. You already know what the video is because it's in the title of the video. What you don't know is that I've got Phil. That's your cue, Phil.
Hello, YouTube.
to help me.
I was also being melodramatic you as well, you see, Jeff.
Very good.
Building the suspense.
Should we have rehearsed this? No. Let's use this take. You know what we need, Phil, is a map.
Yes.
Should I do a map?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Here's the map.
So Sheffield is one of many cities in Britain which had an original tram network that was lost many years ago. But trams returned to its streets in 1994 and grew from there, even as recently as 2018 when the tram train extension to Rotherham opened up, as we'll hear more about later.
As the map just showed us, there's how many colour lines?
There's 3 colour lines.
But...
Go on. Well, plus there's the tram train route that recently opened in 2018 that goes out
we've got
to
the
Rotherham.
whole tram train thing to discuss.
We have,
out
absolutely.
at Rotherham, right?
Yes, that's
Which
right.
I've never seen.
Should
So
be
right
good fun.
now, we've just got to tick off stations as we go to
Pass through
halfway.
the tram.
Here comes our tram. I've looked at the map, it's 48.
It's 48 tram stops
Plus-
plus the 2 that account for the tram train, one of which of course is a railway station.
So are we calling it 48 or are we calling it 50?
Well, the tram calls at 50 stops. I think that's the way to serve
Okay,
it. So count
alright. And one of them is here. Where are we?
Yes, we are at Park Grange.
Press the button. Press the button.
Halfway Park and Ride.
Yeah, so we're heading towards the highest point on the network. We're heading up to Manor Top, as it says, top of the hill. So the branch out to Meadowhall from Ponds Forge was the first to open, and this that we're on now was the second section to open in 94-95.
The next stop by request will be
Manor Top number 7 out of 50. Phil's trying to convince me. You're saying rather go to halfway, knock out Herdings now, and then come back, and at Leighton Road we can walk to White Lane.
That's right.
And then go down to halfway. Stay right it, please. Just tram. Just tram. Do we need this tram?
Yeah,
What about
we'll buy the
one?
train ticket separate later on if we
We're
do
going to buy a
that.
separate train ticket.
Yeah.
We've got an adult day rider.
Yep, that's right.
£4.40.
Yep,
All trams.
yep, and it'll cover the tram train as well.
I've not got to buy a separate ticket for the tram train later.
No, the tram
I
train...
don't really understand what the tram train is later. I'm going to find out, aren't I?
The tram train is valid on that ticket, but
Okay.
a Northern Rail service isn't.
Gleadle's Townsend. Oh, so we have to change here for the purple.
That's right, yep, so the Purple Hourly service leaves here and it's on the destination board saying it's leaving soon.
This is the Purple Route service to Herdings Park.
So the PA there definitely said, did it say purple train or purple line?
I think it believes it's the Purple Tram, I'm not sure.
Oh, purple tram.
think it's a
So you're
purple
saying that in Sheffield on the tram, people refer to it by the colour, so blue, purple, yellow. So whereas in Manchester, you might go, I'm getting the airport tram.
Or the Bury Tram.
Or the Bury tram, the Eccles tram. Here, they definitely refer to it by colour. So you think that Herdings Park, you say that's the one that always gets chopped if there's like a strike or an emergency, or
Yeah.
but do you think this is the least used branch or
Oh,
the
by
least
far and away, by
hang
some
on,
distance.
what's the least used tram stop, this one or the next one up on this
I
little
would imagine,
purple?
I don't know, and they certainly don't publish that information, but if I had to make an educated guess,
Yes.
it would be that it's Leighton Road, which is the intermediate stop on this Herdings Park Purple branch.
So you're going to guess that Leighton Road is the least used
Yeah.
tram stop on
Yeah.
the Sheffield
Super tram.
We're going to get off at Leighton Road.
We are.
And walk to
Burley Lane.
at 11 at Leighton Road. We think the tram's least used stop.
Yep.
And we're going to walk to White Lane.
Yep.
Lead on, Phil.
Yep.
Mind the tram. Mind the tram. Tram's about to cross. White Lanes is back there. Phil just wanted to point out an incredible boundary anomaly. Phil, you're saying that for about 200 metres,
Yep.
there's a little bit of the Sheffield tram
Yep.
actually passes through Derbyshire.
It goes into North East Derbyshire.
Which bit? Can you show us?
So the road junction behind us, those yellow signs that say tram only, beyond that is in Derbyshire. The vehicle that stopped at the traffic lights there, that's pretty much on the boundary. So when the tram crosses through the middle of the field, that field that's on either side of the tramway is in Derbyshire. The road goes around the edge of the field, that is the boundary, and on the far side of the field the tram meets up with that road and crosses back into Sheffield. So for that,
Just that
for
little
those
bit.
200, maybe 300 metres,
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. Yeah.
I did not sign up for running, Phil. We're at White Lane, by the way, and now we're just going to relax and let a few tram stops tick by until we get to the end of the line, like this.
See you later.
Are we almost at halfway?
Yep.
Which isn't actually halfway. Phil,
Yes.
why is it called halfway?
Nobody's quite sure.
Halfway to what?
We think it could be halfway between Sheffield and Dronfield.
Okay.
Or between Rotherham and somewhere else in Derbyshire. There's all sorts of speculation online.
You don't know?
And to the best of my knowledge, it isn't sure.
There's a fact that Phil doesn't know.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't think anybody else knows. Oh, that's
You've
the good
let
thing, though.
YouTube down, Phil.
Yeah, sorry about that. My reputation is going to have to go fall by the wayside now, isn't it?
I was really hoping we'd be halfway, like 25, but we're only 22.
Yeah.
Oh, wouldn't it have been perfect if we were
would've been
actually
fantastic.
halfway?
And unfortunately, we've got to go all the way back in Sheffield City Centre before we get to number 23 now.
Ah, okay. Fitzalan Square, Ponds Forge, what I've learned is that a lot of Sheffield tram stops have two names.
Yeah, they've all each got a sub-name.
They're
so
like a
bit
name and a sub-name, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Phil, can you explain why there's these like...
Little yellow line at the front of each tram platform.
Yeah,
So they're designed so the tram driver looks out the window
That's
and
the
lines
stopping
up,
board.
knows where to stop. Yeah.
This is the Blue Route service
The very
to
back bay on this side.
Main Bridge.
Where's the tunnel going, Phil?
So it goes underneath Park Square, University Square, sorry, roundabout, and then comes out on the other side and goes down Netherthorpe Road, the big dual carriageway. That's the inner ring road of Sheffield.
That is number 37, just about there. What number, Phil?
37,
Give
do
me
believe.
give me a fact about Middlewood.
It's the end of the line.
It is the end of the line.
And if there wasn't the stagecoach buses on strike at the moment, there'd ordinarily be a Supertram link which connects us to Stocksbridge, which is sort of like an outlying town of Sheffield about 3 miles north of here.
The next stop by request will be Hillsborough Park.
The tram is very much on the street here, isn't it? Can we cross?
Yeah, let's not walk in front of the tram.
Don't walk in front of the tram. Tram's going first.
Oh, hey, that's good, isn't it? Taking photos at tram.
The tram, yeah.
What for?
Because they're cool. Phil, I've noticed that at every terminus there's like a section of track which looks long enough to fit another tram into.
is, yeah, yeah.
Is that the, what, in case there's like an overrun or an
Yeah, that's
overspill?
right. So you can just store a tram here if something happens. You know, obviously there's been a football match and you've got lots of fans walking back to Hillsborough.
I feel like doing a tick.
Tick.
Haven't got to tick the whole video. Tick.
Tick.
All right, okay. Phil,
Yes.
I think I've worked out why it's called Cathedral.
Well spotted.
Yeah.
Powers of observation is second to none.
So the tram train starts here.
Yep.
Let's see if I've got this right. There used to be 48 stops on the tram network.
Yes.
They then extended it up to Rotherham.
Yep.
They used a bit of an old freight line.
Yep.
They've got in some special trains by Stadler, class 399s, which are allowed to run on regular heavy rails as well as tram light rails.
That's right.
And it's a 20-minute service from here that follows the tram path, but just after Meadowhall, it goes, no, I'm going to go to the new bit.
That's right.
Up to Rotherham. The cool thing is that Rotherham Central is both a National Rail station and a tram stop.
Yep.
And they're integrated.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
So
did I get it all right?
you're basically,
Yes!
Yeah.
Do you want to point out the The wing mirror, that's not a wing mirror.
Yeah, so it hasn't got a wing mirror, it's instead got a video camera for one instead, which is a bit novel.
CCTV video camera for a wing mirror.
Yeah.
So first time on a 399 today. They're much nicer, aren't they? They're really nice. Okay, these are much. So these
More train-like it is as well, isn't
So these are Stadlers.
Yep.
The other older tram is
Siemens.
they're Siemens trains.
This is the tram train service to Parkgate.
I gather there's some debate as to whether this is a tram stop or like a National Rail train stop, as it's on their infrastructure, but it's part of the tram service. Rotherham Parkgate is a tram stop and not a railway station.
This is the tram train service to Cathedral.
Here is the tram bit, and then further up is the train bit. So this bit here is all quite low down. This is at tram height, platform level. Dot matrix, platform number, but over here is the National Rail Station. So Phil, what they did is that the National Rail Station was there,
Yep.
and then they just built the additional...
Just built an additional 2 platforms at the end here, platform 3 and platform 4, both for the super tram train.
So with the sun setting, it's just before 4 o'clock. We weren't really timing ourselves, but we started around 9:30.
Yep.
We've got the Northern train into Meadowhall. We're on the tram platforms. Oh, there's one that says not in service. So we're going to leave and we'll tick off our 50th tram stop by
Yep,
departing
well done.
on a tram. Tick, that's it. Phil, thanks for making me tick off all the Sheffield Super tram stops. All 50 tram stops ticked off. Once it is, we've departed on the next tram. The closing shot will be us leaving on a tram. See you next time. Press subscribe. Thanks, Phil.
Bye, see you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.